right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our Saturday 3 p.m. webinar, and our goal is to share with you what we know and to equip you to protect yourself. So today's topic is about scammers, the people who are pretending to be IRS agent, or the people who give you some big ideas for you to not pay any of the taxes. So I am listing 12 big scammer tricks for you today so that you can kind of see what's going on. I hope you're not experiencing all of them. If you're telling me that, oh yes, I know all of them, maybe that is too much. I just hope that you only know one or two of them. But just get to know other new ones in case they come to you, you catch it right away. So right here, folks, you see my YouTube channel, right? And in our channel, you can subscribe to our webinar. Subscribe to the channel so every time we have a webinar, you will get a notification. Didn't you get a notification today? You did, right? So we summarize what we talked about, and so you know and what we are preparing for you. And we always trying to stay in front of the movement. Like whatever, if there is a new things coming out, we like to talk to you. So our next week's webinar, we're going to focus on government fundings related to American Rescue Act. You know, I know those are big buzzwords, and who cares, and nobody knows what they say in there. You know, you're going to say that, Ying, did you read that? No, I didn't read it. But what I do is I understand the part that related to everyday folks. So we want to put together a webinar to tell folks what's available from the Department of Treasury of United States of America, so that way you know your opportunities. Okay, I will say that, ladies and gentlemen, as long as you're in business, and this American Rescue Act should have something for you. So just don't skip our webinar and subscribe to our channel, and we keep our promise to keep you informed. Oh, now let me show you another thing, which is our website, right? So you know how to get onto our website, communitycpa.com. And when you are on our website, you know that we have this blue button called Onboard with Us. Day and night, 24/7, silent onboarding. So you upload your information, you know we will get back to you. We know how small business owners, how busy we are. We are just simply busy, okay? With that said, you don't have to wait till office hours to call us. We're just one of those weird CPA firms that open all the time. We open 6 days a week, and our hours is 5:30 to 8:30. If you want me to tell you the truth about our hours, I would say 24/7. I am not kidding, because when you are reaching to us, we want to take care of you. And we're not one of those CPA firms going to tell you that, oh, yay, we got too much business, goodbye. No, even if we cannot help you, it is our job. It's literally our job to hand you over to somewhere you will get that service. So some of our clients, with life going on, they no longer need to pay for tax preparations. All of these people, we move them out to free tax preparation place so that they can enjoy the freedom of getting it done without paying a fee. So we're here and to help. And I want you to remember that. Because of our onboarding with us button, I draw your attention, and I want your attention on appointments. So you can come over here to see us. These are partners. And you can speak to any one of us to understand what we do. And these partners, and you can book video conference with us. You can book my time. Yes, it is chargeable time. However, I have never ever had anybody who did conference call with me says that, oh, my time is so well wasted. It is not worth anything. Never ever. Folks are good folks. I give you my heart. So there's no reason for anyone who had worked with our firm to feel that way. All right, so with that said, let's go to what I prepared for you. And today's topic, as we mentioned, is 12 tax scams to watch for. So I just want you to watch for it. I didn't tell you to experience it, and it will be so sad if you experience it. So I hope that you're smart enough to know these are traps. Don't try to go in there, right? And with that, we always talk about our firm. And a couple of numbers I want you to remember. 27, that's the year of the practice we have in history. 10,000 clients, that's the number of clients we have we are serving. And 10 different languages we collectively speaking. 5 is the branches that we have in the Midwest. And what about 3? 3 is the years I served on the National Taxpayer Advocacy Panel, which is the Federal Advisory Committee, provides advices to IRS. Interesting, right? What about 2? 2 is the book I finished. I finished one book at 8 a.m., the other one at 10 a.m., and I am writing the third one. I haven't really touched it for a couple months during the tax season, but my goal is to get the 2 p.m. out so you see how to expand your business. All right. Of course, I do this. This is the attorney's advice for our practice, and our insurance also require us to do that. No responsibility disclaimer. Feels so light, right? No responsibility. And of course, it's not going with our heart. And we take our knowledge seriously. And we take you seriously. There's no such a thing about no responsibility, especially you are a paid client to us. And however, those webinars are free knowledge, right? So we learn, we teach, we practice, we teach. And there are times your understanding is limited, so you want to make sure when you put anything on the knowledge you get from internet, doesn't matter, it's from communitycpa.com or you got it from TikTok, whatever you got it, and you want to verify that before you use it. All right, so now, with that disclaimer behind us, let's talk about the 12 scammers. Oh, of course, a Warfield is not a scammer. This is commissioner. This is IRS commissioner. You know what? Sometimes we talk about Uncle Sam. That's our uncle. All right? He said scammers are relentless in their attempt to obtain sensitive financial and personal information. Of course, we know that. They're very smart. And the advancement of AI, artificial intelligence, just means that scams will scale quickly because they can use AI tools to know what you need. They can target you so precisely. You were thinking of getting the utility bill paid, then you already got a call say, we can help you pay utility bills. You are like, oh yes, I was just thinking about it. Let's pay it. Then you give them your bank account information, your personal information. Then the scammer disappeared. And then next month you got a notice saying you never paid your utility bill. You go like, yes, I did. Where did you pay for? Oh, I got a call. I paid to you by that phone call. No, we never had any record of you calling and don't know where you paid that to. Then you go around, look at your bank account. Not only the utility amount is gone, more amounts are gone. So those are artificial intelligence results. And the commissioner also added a point to say that impersonating IRS is a thing. People calling saying that, hey, I am IRS agent John Doe. You are being audited. To avoid me coming to your door, give me $10,000 immediately. I will forgive you. Of course, I'm exaggerating. They don't talk like that. They don't have my accent. They have something else. They have a different accent, not mine. So, they will tell you, allude you to give more information about yourself. These are their favorite tactics. That's what the commissioner warning all of the taxpayers in this country. So number one scam is called a new client scam. This is so prevalent this year. I can't even tell you how many I got personally. I will get an email say, I am Zhang Dou. I just moved into your neighborhood and was looking for a CPA firm. And, if you think that if you still accept client and reply to my email, please, and I'd like to work with you. Scam. What they do is, that email itself is not harmful. There's no link or anything. But what they're doing is they're verifying your email to make sure it's a valid email. Then they're going to sell it to a million other uses. So if you replied, you already failed. But if you did reply, they're going to be like, oh, this is the link to all of my tax files. Would you please download my files, prepare my return? Where do I pay the fee? Let me know. Sounds so real and sounds so nice. But all they are trying to do is to get into your computer. If you are a tax preparer, they really want to see what you have. So if your data is not secure enough, if you don't have the security like what Community CPA has, I'm telling you, you are asking to fail. So the small tax preparers, we help tax preparers. When you start your office, and we actually can help you to make sure you set up your system right. We have an IT department in our firm to work on nothing but making sure clients' data is secure. And we work with vendors like Thomson Reuters and the Salesforce. These are big vendors. They also have very strong tools to make sure the data that we loaded onto their platform, we work on their platform is safe. So with that said, and you understand those emails appear to be harmless, but they are a phishing email. So make sure you don't fall into that. The second one will be ERC empty promises. Of course, we have webinars just talk about ERC because ERC is so it's so easy for the small business owners to fall into. But ERC has a lot of disqualifiers. You don't qualify for this because of your sales. You don't qualify for this because all of your employees is your relatives. So there's so many disqualifiers that you don't qualify even though you have payroll. But what is the scammers do for you? They are aggressive. They don't even ask you the question whether any one of these people on your payroll list are relatives. They don't ask because they don't want to know. They just want to make up a number so you can pay them 25% of fee, then they can walk. The worst part is those people, they don't exist after they did your work. You want to go back to check your file? Good luck. They are gone. So those are the scamming entities, and you really want to make sure that you understand in tax world, there's no such a thing about windfall. No. And any tax credit, any empty promises, and the future lookings and the things, it's just weird stuff they give you, and those are not a legitimate way to save taxes. So we want to say that because we have been in business for so long. And it's not like we have not seen people fail. I'll tell you, this year, in the other slides, and I also will mention that this year I met a CEO of a company, large company, and the CEO makes more than $1 million a year on W-2. And an individual at that level would fall into a scam and lose literally $690,000 in one single shot. Then tax preparation time comes, and the CEO sitting in front of you goes, Ying, I have something I want to tell you. I feel really dumb. I almost don't want to tell you. Then he told me. And then the good thing is that he also have a police report. So folks, if you get scammed, you lost a lot of money, and it's not all lost it. I want you to report to the police, get a police report, put the value properly on the report, and go into your Schedule A and declare that as a casualty loss. Okay? So those are the things you can do for yourself. It's not going to bring your money back, but it's going to ease a little bit of your pain, and you got a little bit of a tax deduction. It's really not amounted to anything but Still, and IRS is kind enough not to recognize casualty loss, and you just lost it. And whether it's burned in the fire or is like a scammer just very easily got you and you give all your retirement funds away. That's another client of mine. He was so stressed out. He was in the parking lot calling me because he doesn't know what to tell to his wife. They are retired. They lost all their retirement saving in the scammer's hand. So don't do that to yourself, okay? Let's save ourselves from that. The other one, the third one I believe here is assistance to set up an online account at irs.gov. To set up online account for yourself. You do not want to engage anybody online calling you, hey, I'm from IRS, and I noticed that you haven't really set up an online account for yourself. Online account is really, really beneficial. You can check your tax return status, and you can also print out your transcript. If you owe money to IRS, this account can also tell you that how much you owe and what's the interest you are paying. So it's useful. You like to set it up? Oh, yes, I like to set it up. And you want me to help you? Oh, yes, help me. And okay, let me just get information from you. I will register that for you. So what did they ask? The scammer will say, what's your name? Can you give me your legal name? And what's your birthday? What's your social security number? And after this, the line just gonna be accidentally dropped. Oh, I lost my scammer and he's not helping me anymore. Of course, because he already got information from you. Why would he need to help you? Right? So don't fall into these kind of convenience. There's no such a thing. I don't know how to express that in English, but in Chinese, we say 天上掉馅儿饼 means that there's no such thing about some nice pizza fall out of the sky and you just eat. It doesn't work, right? That's kind of equivalent of Chinese term. So with that said, I just want to impress you to know that you don't trust too good of a deal online because you don't know who you are speaking with. That person could be sitting somewhere on the other side of the globe. They're not even in US. They're not regulated by US rules and regulation. This is why community CPA do not want to deal with overseas whatever, like accounting firms, and we can do your work so cheap. No, we work our work right here in Iowa, California, Minnesota, and Texas. Those are the states we work in. So, we don't work anywhere else. And there's no such thing about overseas and giving your data to somebody else. These people living in a different world. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you realize when we say different world, what that means. Because right now there are places are in war and people, civilians are dying every day. That's the world for them. But for us, we're lucky enough that we have peace. But just know the people you work with on the phone, they may be in the war zone even. So don't trust what's going on and just be really rooted to your community. And the best way for you to operate your finance is to know who you are working with. Okay? Don't look for assistance online to set up online account. Just think that you're going to save $500. Not worth it. Tax credit cheat. There's a lot of credit meals, we call them. What they do is they say, oh, I think you qualify for field tax credit. So whatever you got, we just charge you 25%. We'll tell you how much you're getting, so you pay us. Then we disappear. That's what they actually don't say to you, but that's how it is. So these tax credit, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that if you are in the business qualifies for certain tax credit, you would know because your CPAs and your relatives and the people in your industry who work with you, they will somewhere, somehow, casually mention that to you. If you're a restaurant owner, I know you know about tips credit. I know if you're a small business owner, you offer health insurance. I know you know about health premium credit. So those are the things, if you really qualify, somewhere, somehow, you would know. And your CPA would know. They should tell you. You don't pick up the phone, someone tell you that you qualify for, $15,000 fuel tax credit. And you were like, oh, ashamed of my CPA, and they don't even know. And here I got this nice gentleman and with this nice accent tell me that I have this fuel tax credit. Forget it. That is not how it works. And this credit is not for ordinary folks. You don't normally get it, okay? But you would get something else. So tax credit cheat is very popular. Don't fall into this kind of windfall kind of money. Oh, yes, I just get it out of blue. How many times do you get something out of blue? Maybe in the gambling ground, but you still lose more than what you get, right? I don't have any experience of windfall. I have no pennies in my pocket is coming out of windfall. It's all hard work dollars. And same with all of our small business owners, majority of us, when we are so focused in business, you don't have windfalls. You are just doing it right. If the credit is not yours, don't even look at it. And try to stretch it is not working. Because the federal government are also getting smarter and smarter. You think AI is only available to the cheaters? No, AI is also available to IRS. Do you know IRS got funding to work on their IT? They got $20 billion in their pocket to do this. So they will show us some improvement over this. So they will catch the scammers a lot faster than you thought. High Price OIC. Offering compromise is a tool when you owe a lot of money to IRS, but you also you happen to be disabled. You can't make the money. You can't make the payment. You can go through offering compromise and get discount, a cent on the dollar, or whatever that may be. So I have done a OIC work for a restaurant that closed. So that work offered about a $10 is $1 on every $10. So, yes, you work some deals out because of the reality. The government not going to get any payment if you don't do these offering compromise. But there are people coming out and knowing that you owe a lot of taxes. They go, oh, we're going to do offering compromise for you, but we want you to pay this fee to us, then we can start working. You don't want to do that. When you work on offering compromise, I tell you that you have to give so much of your personal information. You really want to work with reputable law firms, CPA firms to do that for you. And you don't want to get a 1-800 number. I do not want you to trust 1-800 number because those numbers can disappear so easily. I had a case long time ago, not recently. This taxpayer actually owes a lot of taxes. And we are the one did the tax return for the client, and he owed a lot of taxes. And, of course, he didn't come to us, but he got a call from somebody saying that they can do OIC for him, so he doesn't need to pay. It is not even, it is just a regular tax he owed. And so now, then he paid $3,000 for the signing the contract with the other party. And then over the course of the year, he was paying another $3,000. So he paid total $6,000 into this OIC. He believed he will be coming out paying no money. Then things take a turn because when he called the number and it's disappeared, it's no longer there. So he was frantically looking for where that company is and all that. It just vanished out of internet, out of earth. So don't know where that company went. And he looked at his bank transaction and he went to the bank trying to find out who took that money. And the vendor is not the same he thought it was. So he lost $6,000 for an empty promise. And he thinks that he will just get away not paying taxes and pay these high price. And then when he come back to us, and we were saying that even if we process OIC, you are young, you can work, you have future, there is no way IRS would give you that discount. IRS would want you to be old, disabled, unable to live for another 10 years, then you can get OIC. You remember our tax bills last for what? 10 years, right? If you owe IRS $1 in the first year, by the end of the 10 years, the dollar becomes $10, and you still didn't pay IRS, then IRS will drop that $10. So OIC is really the consideration of your ability within the 10 years period. So it's very narrow. Yes, you could do it, but it's not something you pay a high price, you will get it. So scam, just total scam. Don't fall into it. IRS call. Do IRS call you? No, I get IRS call because we're working on the case with IRS and the auditors and the managers and the technical assistant folks, they know us, so they call. We get their call. But as a regular taxpayer, you should not getting IRS call. If some call goes, I am IRS, and sometimes they use the DC number, right? It looks scary. It's like coming from DC. And those numbers can be made up, right? Our office numbers start with 515. And as soon as you see a 515, you think it's a Ying calling you? Of course not, right? So the calls you get, the number displays means nothing. If the call goes, oh, you owe IRS money and we're going to arrest you, you better do this, you better do that, that's not possible. Okay? If you are really a criminal, you won't get a call. You just get police knocking your door and get you arrested. If you are a regular citizen, just because you didn't file taxes for a couple of years, you don't get this kind of special treatment. You think people coming to your door, it costs nothing to the government? It costs a lot of things to the government. They will not spend that money on you. I'm sorry, you may think you are really, really precious, but you don't worth that money for them to come to you, okay? So you just know those calls are not real. And you need to say that if you are so polite, you already picked it up, you're like, it is hard to say no right now, then nicely say, can you give me your name and your ID number, and I will call you back. By the way, a phone number, if you could tell me how to reach you back. You will effectively cut them off. So there are one time, IRS even called me a scam call. This is really laughable because someone would call, say, can I speak to Ying? I said, yes, I am here. And I just want to inform you that you will be arrested if you don't have 10,000 or some amount, not really huge. And if you don't pay that right away, and we would advise you to go to the nearest money wiring place, and then I can tell you where to wire. And would you do that today? That's just a call. And I said, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that right away. Tell me, where do you want me to wire? And tell me what's your name. But when I wire, I would like to know your organization name. If it's IRS, I'd like to know which campus you are in. And can I also speak to your manager because I don't like to wire. I would rather write you a check. And they just hung up. So that's what you do. And these are entertainment on our daily basis. So these scammers, if you recognize them, they are your entertainment. You can have so much fun with them, right? What about scammers' charity? That's another one for you. When there is a natural disaster and, people get phone calls for donations, and you will probably get one. We just had an earthquake here, and, like to raise funds for the most needed folks out there. And, would you donate? What do you say? you want to ask the question. You say, which nonprofit organization do you belong to? The scammer will give you one. Give you a name. Sounds so good. Earthquake Survivors Foundation. Okay, what you do is, if you are right in front of your phone or computer, you go to irs.gov and search for that nonprofit name. Search for the EIN number and search for the location to see whether they still have the status. A lot of times you will find the fake charity doesn't exist. Or you will find out the charity already expired. Or you can tell them that, I don't give donation on the phone, and you can send me a letter, and I'll work on that accordingly, right? There's no need to pour out your love to some scammers on the other side and all of your money going into their account so they can build more scammer sites for you, right? So really, as a citizen, we really cannot be so naive, am I right? And we see naive people all the time. Sometimes we behave naive for one particular things because our brain is not there. That's okay. But at least you heard what I'm saying today, so hopefully give you a little tinted impression. When you do donation to charities, do it when you know them. If you know Big Brother, Big Sisters locally here, yeah, you donate. United Way next door to you, yeah, you donate. But if some scammer's calling you and you don't even know where they're calling from, they're asking money from you, you don't need to. You tell them, do you have a local branch here in where I live? Then I will donate to that branch. Okay? So many ways to politely off the hook. And I don't mean for you to be a battle soldier to go fight them. And I know you don't have the time, you don't have the energy. But you at least knows that it's a scammer, so you can politely push them away. Right? Just in case we hurt their feelings. That's their profession, so they won't be hurt. They will be like, somehow I'm not so successful today because everybody heard Ying's webinar, so they're no longer available to us. I'm dreaming about that. Tik Tok Advice. Tik Tok, very short. And I will tell you that, we have this webinar, right, on YouTube. And so many times, we would get advice from marketing gurus and tell us that, oh, Ying, your webinar is too long. That's why your rating, that's why your popularity is not there. So we think about that. Can a knowledge be appropriately transformed to you as your knowledge with a TikTok bam, 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 done? I don't think so. TikTok does say something. Some of the TikTok advice was so wrong, insanely wrong. But there's no regulations on TikTok to say that you have to state your position correctly. No. Fake news, right? And the people just straight face tell you lies nowadays. Don't you get used to it already? People can tell lies to you repeatedly and without any shame, as if it is real. No wonder we have scammers. They're not even as good as our politicians. They're just a secondary in terms of lying. So TikTok is not a place to filter right or wrong. If you get advice on internet is not regulated. Yeah, you may be not going to find information how to kill someone, but in fact, if you really go to the dark side of the internet, you might do. But normally, internet is a place for entertainment. Just treat what you hear as a fantasy. If they tell you that, do you know that you can make a couple millions without paying $1 of tax, and we have a special tax shelter for you, and that can be set up in 5 minutes. Requires no money down from you, is free. Just enjoy it. It is so amazing. It's so fascinating. It is entertainment. It makes you smile, but it's not a solution for you. So take those kind of advice as an entertainment. That would be my best advice. So for us, we couldn't come up with TikTok entertainment for you because it's not entertainment. The stuff we're talking about here is pretty serious. So with that said, I just want to say that professional advices don't come into TikTok, Instagram, your YouTube short is too short. It cannot express opinion properly. It is always too conditional for the one sentence. So I would say that knowledge really do have so much prerequisite. You have to have so many conditions exist before you draw that conclusion. So, the logic is placed into the conclusion. How could anybody argue anything or explain anything within a TikTok minute? No, it's too short. With that said, just treat that as entertainment, but not your action item, okay? And a false return to pocket your money. This is a scammer game that they actually do your return for you. Then they will claim the refund. So this has happened this tax season. We have seen one victim who were filing taxes with us. So when we e-filed it, the IRS came back and said tax return has already been filed. So obviously someone was using that their social security number and a filed return on behalf of the client. And then later on we found out that they actually claimed close to $10,000 refund on that. So it's going to be a while before my clients really see their refund properly. So those are the people who want to tell you that, okay, I can do your tax return for a small fee and pretend to be a tax professional. So you really want to make sure that the people you do taxes with, because there's so much of your personal information, folks, and you don't want someone new. You want to make sure this person is vetted through your community and you know this person well, okay? So with that said, I want to say that if you did your taxes with a scammer and then your information went out, your tax return being filed every year ahead of your real filing, then you really need to resolve that with some entities like the Taxpayer Advocacy Service Center. Those are IRS service centers that helping taxpayers. A lot of identity theft are being resolved there. So I just want you to know these are possible to be resolved by the government. Nobody's going to charge you money when you work with the federal agencies and they know how to help you, right? And the other scam is art donations. I even heard of that. I had a client come to me, goes, I have this donation. I made a donation, but I actually can deduct a lot more. So that's kind of the statement I was getting. So the art donation, of course, can be deducted. So it is nothing wrong with knowing that you have a valuable art and you want to donate that to the museum, so the value is the market value of your art. But the thing is, you buy them cheap for $1, then you sit there for 12 months, so next year you sell them for $1 million and to some other people, and not really the museum or the art collection nonprofit. You are not selling into the appropriate place for that art piece to be recognized. You can't take those deductions. So it is not as easy as you just do it and then you are like what the scammer told you. Everything is, of course we have gray areas in our tax books, and it is people always can find rooms to move around and to apply for that. But to completely scamming the system and tell the taxpayer that pay $1, then you can deduct $1,000. Those kind of scam, you don't even want to know because they don't serve you. They come back to bite you. IRS has a task force just to look at your donations. So you want to be prepared to be solid when you make a donation deduction. So I would say that there's so many ways in life to save money. You want to save taxes because you want to save cash, right? But there's other areas in life you can save money. So I don't want you to save taxes and go on the wrong path. It's not worth it. I tell you a story here. I have a tax preparer. This is many years ago. I don't know how many years ago. I just remember our office was not even the same at that time. So the gentleman came to me and wanting to set up a tax preparation company because he represents that tribes of new immigrant from Africa. So he has like about 200 community members who does the tax return with him. And, he went on wrong path and did a wrong claim on the tax return for many people in the community. Then IRS found out and charged him. He was in jail for 4 years. I mean, the young man I met, I know how presentable he is, and I know how righteous he looked. He's really a good young man. No less than Obama, I will tell you. And he has the look, he has the body, he has the presentation, and it is a really good business person. But he went on the wrong path, and he could learn more, know the damage, and know the consequences not to do that. So before he went in jail, he actually came to me, and he said to me that, Ying, I didn't know how serious that is. I didn't know. I thought it's just a community members and I'm just doing it like in the family. We are all like a big, huge family. So I didn't know I did that wrong and it's so serious. So do you think, they charge me too much? At that time, he's actually going in jail for the first day next week. So, what else can I do? I mean, you have that, you have that record. I guess IRS proved that you did cheat. So it's really hard to turn around. But of course, I understand the culture side of reasons, folks don't know. But this talk I gave you, and whether you like to hear it or not, I always will say that, not knowing the rules is not an excuse for not following it. So if we are new immigrant in this country, it is our own responsibility to know the rules. Right? So only till you know the rules, then you can go a straight line to grow your business. Otherwise, you have setbacks. Is this young man going to be forever ruined? I don't think so. I think he came out of the jail, he will learn. He actually told me that he will finish his bachelor degree when he's in jail because he had 4 years in there. And I didn't know him after that, but I am pretty sure he will finish his bachelor degree, come out, and becoming a knowing rules more, and will do great things. There are people doing great things even though they have a terrible past. I have a business owners who had terrible past and doing so well today is admirable, admirable figure in the community. So I don't place judgment for people's path, but I want you to know that it is always important. Try to keep yourself away from the traps, right? Offer tax shelters. It's just everywhere. I even had a client and went with this guy. I just think that he's a scammer. But they, for whatever reason, my client just trusted this person so much and set up so million of LLCs, family LLCs and the holding companies, and it's just not necessary. It is not necessary to do all these complex things. 2 years later, my client come back asking me to reverse all of it. And I'm not making up the story for you, and this is true fact. So anything making your life so complicated, you do not want to do. I always tell my client that if any tax planning work we do in our firm that make you confused, you don't even know what I'm talking about, you are not a candidate for it. It's almost like, tools are nice. The kids like to play tools, but likes to play toys. But your 2 years old just cannot play toys that 12 years old is playing, right? So if you are not there in terms of your wealth level, you don't need a lot of tools out there. Don't make your life complicated only because you felt like it is complicated, it is kind of good. No. In tax, you want your life to be at the level you understand. Don't overdo your tax planning. Do not fall for tax shelters. In reality, there's no shelters. There may be one that's still working only because it hasn't even been discovered by IRS yet. So once they discover it, you will have a boatload of questions, problems, and to solve them, penalties and interest, and endless IRS pursuit. Don't even go there. Not worth it. Life is too short. So if you want tax shelter, there are reasonable ones, but maybe your wealth is not wanting to even consider that. So you may say that, these people can fight so hard with IRS because they have a tax shelter. They don't have to pay taxes, so they don't care. You don't know what other people do. I always tell my client, don't quote what other people say because you don't know what they have behind them. Maybe they have so much trouble they don't tell you. They only give you the glamorous side and making you admiring them. You don't think you met those people before? Those people don't normally show up in front of me just because we have to know everything about the business owner, about their business. So we are pretty much, operating on, at the same level in terms of understanding how their finances. But if you are not doing their finance, why would they tell you the truth? Why would they even bother to tell you what they do? Right? So with that said, you understand if you got tax shelters after shelters and thinking you are so extremely smart, you don't have to pay taxes, I'm telling you, you are failing. You are not. You are not what you're thinking. So you really need to simplify your tax life to the level you really understand. Not fascination, not fashionable. Tax shelter is fashion, but you don't want it to be. You just want to be reasonable. Just like in the fashion runway, there people are running literally naked. So you want to run on the street like that? Of course you don't. You know that's fashion. So people talk about tax shelter like they really saved billions, and maybe that is just a fashion show. It is not really what you know. Okay? Don't trust what the scammers tell you, and your friend could suddenly become a scammer too. So just be aware. There's a lot of complex trust is out there, and they promise to defer income tax. So charitable remainder trust is one of them. So do you need that? You may say, well, it sounds so attractive. If I have a charitable remainder trust, I can do so many things, and I don't have to pay taxes, and I can just imagine you make money. And these are the trust. Once it is in the trust, it's no longer yours. Charitable remainder trust is irrevocable trust, as I wrote there. That means whatever goes in there, you can't pull it out again. And whatever the trust is making, of course, you can run that into as your income. But this trust itself, it is really take that out of your estate. So you maybe own 2 houses and you put one into irrevocable trust. Then when the question comes to you, say, how many houses do you own? You say 1, not 2. Because that one doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to that remainder trust. Okay? Use trust smartly and don't get intertwined into these very fancy names of trust. Understand it. and just sit down. And the one good way for tax people to understand trust, and we have some advantage because we know exactly how to report taxes for trust. Some of the trust we don't even report as taxes because they're living trust. They actually can use your social security number. So there's no entity reporting on there. But if you die, then of course you have a 1041 and you're going to have it for a couple of years until your estate is cleared. But if you have irrevocable trust, that may be going on forever. And it just really depends on how you structure the trust and what's your direction and what happens to your beneficiary. And all of these things are going to come into this irrevocable trust area. So I just want to tell you that if someone just approaches you for this, just absolutely too good to be true, you are hitting your own head, goes, oh, how come I don't know that? I should have known that a long time ago. Pause. That may not be the solution. That just might be a scam. Okay? So make sure you're aware of that. Of course, all of these battles is invisible. So I think you kind of, feel like, oh, Ying. So what you're saying to me is just like, oh, don't listen to anybody else. Just listen to Ying. That's what you're saying. And you want to say that, oh, don't listen to anybody else. If it is too good, it must be a spam. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying here to you is spam comes in different shapes and forms. Those are all possible and they are proven to be spam. Sometimes I don't even call it spam. For example, the client of mine who actually did this with this guy, I even went on Zoom with this guy. At that time, I just think he's full of baloney. And he is an attorney. I'm not an attorney, so I can't really sit there goes, well, you're not right. And it is not my place to do that. But I'm just like, whatever. If my client wants to file for that, go for it. And then she did. 2 years later, come back, want to reverse everything. I mean, that is a lesson someone to learn. If my client is young, still have time to reverse the damages, I am not too worried. But if my client is in their 80 years old and to go through these ones is make them just bankrupt, then I will do my very best to prevent that. So it is a battle. And sometimes, I don't call that attorney a scammer. I don't think I can call him that. Maybe he's doing other good things out there. But that particular plan he gave to my client, it is nothing but scam-like. It is not appropriate to give a simple client that kind of structure, layers after LLCs. It's just crazy. So you don't want to fall for that, and you just want it to be understandable to you. To be understandable to you is the most important. I personally have a tax planning client. I did a planning, then client came back and asked for the same question one more time. I knew that is a signal to tell me that my client don't understand what I did. He doesn't know what is cost segregation. So let's not force it. Let's just do straight line, 39.5 years, 27.5 years. So we don't go for there. And we do just what our client understands. That is very important. If I did something my client don't understand, I could be labeled as a scammer because it wasn't really play out, or maybe it is too short of time, you don't see the benefit, or client screwed up somewhere else and your plan didn't go through. So with that said, you just want to work with reputable people who are actually, you can feel and touch that person, right? Not some 1-800 number and you don't even know where their office is. When you are on Zoom with them, their background is blank. Or they have this little cute background and, you don't even know whether it's real or not. That's why when I work with professional people, obviously we also have professional people working for our firm, right? For example, our IT consultant, our attorneys, right? So when we have a meeting with these people, we know them so well, then, if I don't know one of the members who just come on board and I require them to use real background, not because I care what their bedroom looks like, but I care about is a real person. It is a real person looks like in United States of America. Or even if they're not in United States of America, at least it's an environment that you know where they are, right? So it is really important to make that your own responsibility, knowing there is a battle invisible. The AI technology is available to you, available to scammers. We're on equal ground. We're going to fight this battle on equal ground. So with that said, you want to build relationship with firms that have credentials and have good reputations. Community CPA, we have credentials. I served as a 3 years advisors to IRS via the National Advisory Committee, right? So those are credentials. And we are CPA firms, so we are subject under the uniform guidance, and we know how to apply ourselves to the situation. So with that said, and you have benchmarks for these people, and you don't want to work with those credit meal folks. They have no benchmark. There's no penalties when they have fraud, and they can close and open any way they want it, and nobody is the owner. That's what they're going to tell you. I'm the manager. Nobody is the owner. So those are a sign you cannot trust. And if you learn more knowledge for yourself, you come to our webinars to listen to us more often, and you will learn and you will have that knowledge to place your judgment. The more you know, the better judgment you're going to place when you meet a scammer. You will see that on their forehead. You know right away. Don't waste time. Have fun with them. It's an entertainment. And so you pass, right? So if you are already fall into the victimhood, you're already a victim, and you are so stressed out, then knowing that IRS has this advocacy agency everywhere, and you can go in to tell your story, get it resolved by IRS folks, free of charge, and definitely thorough. It may take some time, and I know cases take up to a year, but I'm trying to tell you that you don't have to be a victim. As soon as you know you got spammed, you want to go to report the case to the police so other people can be prevented, and to IRS advocate to save yourself. So those are the ways to keep our finance health intact, so we don't run into a situation where our social security number, God knows where there is, because other people are using it to work. And we have a doctor who are our client, and she actually practiced in the East Coast, and one of those years, and someone was using her social security number, work in a different state, and claiming unemployment insurance. So much is out there. It's not a joke. So be really careful with your identity and make sure you're vigilant and understand scammers is everywhere and, existed everywhere. So be mindful for every step you take. So one last slide I have here is our partners, screenshot from our website again. So if you want to see one of us, click us, then you will see our open calendar. With that, I want to conclude our today's talk, and www.communitycpa.com, visit our website and click the subscribe button to know everything we talk about on webinars. Today's webinar will be on our YouTube channel within 24 hours, so you can always visit what we talked about in the past. And we hope you like us and give us a thumb up and give us a comment. Let me know what else you want to listen, and we're always here with a heart to help you. Nothing else, just help. Bye-bye.